We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight. And we will honor that. And we will stop the bombings. And they have capitulated, but more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore. And that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that.
Welcome back to EDG Post, where we dive fearlessly into the heart of global conflicts, exposing the raw truths that shape our world. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and prepare for a journey into the chaos of war. Today, we confront Yemen, ceasefire, or trap, a conflict where the Houthi rebels, a tenacious force rooted in Yemen's rugged terrain, challenge the unmatched might of America's military machine. On May 6, 2025, President Donald Trump announced a dramatic ceasefire, declaring an immediate halt to U.S. airstrikes after the Houthis pledged to cease their relentless attacks on Red Sea shipping lanes. Yet, in a defiant twist, Houthi leaders, led by Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, insisted they would continue targeting Israel in solidarity with Gaza, signaling that this truce is no surrender, but a calculated pause. This is no fleeting skirmish. It's a looming quagmire, a war that echoes the grinding, costly struggles of Vietnam's jungle tunnels and Afghanistan's unforgiving mountains. For 2 years, from 2022 to 2025, the Houthis have transformed Yemen into an impregnable fortress, carving caves into Sa'ada's peaks, burying bunkers beneath Sana'a's ancient streets, and fortifying Hodeida's vital port to shield an arsenal of Iranian-supplied missiles, drones, and explosives. These weapons, smuggled through Oman's lawless borders, have turned Yemen into a powder keg, threatening not just regional stability, but the arteries of global trade. The cost is already astronomical. Billions spent on precision bombs, countless lives lost, and the world's commerce disrupted as ships reroute to avoid Houthi attacks. This conflict is a vortex, pulling in resources, political will, and human lives, with no clear end in sight. It could stretch into the 2030s, a trillion-dollar shadow of America's past defeats in Vietnam and Afghanistan, where superior firepower faltered against determined foes. In this episode, we'll probe 3 Houthi strongholds, Sa'ada, Sana'a, and Hodeida, unraveling how their preparation over 2 years has created a war that could break America, even as a fragile ceasefire hangs in the balance. Join us as we uncover Yemen's unbreakable fortress, a conflict that tests the limits of power and endurance. Sa'ada, the cradle of the Houthi movement, stands as a monument to resistance in Yemen's northern highlands. Its jagged mountains and labyrinthine caves form a natural citadel, a sanctuary where the Houthis have honed their defiance for decades. From these hidden depths, they unleash a barrage of destruction. Scud B and Birkin 2H missiles, capable of striking targets 800 miles away. Samad 4 drones, with a staggering range of 2,000 kilometers, threatening cities as far as Israel. And Thaqib anti-aircraft missiles, engineered to shoot down US MQ-9 Reaper drones patrolling the skies. Many of these weapons, smuggled through Oman's porous borders or Eritrea's coastal routes, bear the unmistakable mark of Iranian engineering, a lifeline that has kept Sa'ada's arsenals brimming with danger. Between 2022 and 2025, the Houthis transformed Sa'ada's barren hills into a fortified stronghold, constructing bunkers, digging trenches, and concealing tunnel entrances in a meticulous 2-year plan to withstand any assault. This preparation, born from lessons of earlier Saudi-led strikes, reflects a strategic foresight that has made Sa'ada nearly impervious. The United States, determined to neutralize this threat, unleashed its most advanced weaponry, B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, each mission costing millions of dollars. And FA-18 Super Hornets, launched from the USS Harry S. Truman stationed in the Red Sea, armed with GBU-28 bunker buster bombs that can penetrate 6 meters of reinforced concrete. On May 6, 2025, Trump announced a ceasefire, claiming the Houthis had capitulated by halting Red Sea attacks. But Houthi leaders, led by Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, called it a tactical pause, vowing to evaluate the truce's sincerity on the ground, while redirecting their arsenal toward Israel. This defiance mirrors the Viet Cong's strategy during Vietnam, where the Cu Chi tunnels, sprawling 250 kilometers, sheltered fighters through relentless B-52 bombings, allowing them to strike even during fleeting truces. It also recalls Afghanistan's Tora Bora, where the Taliban's mountain hideouts defied a $2 trillion war, outlasting American resolve. Sa'ada's fortress, unscathed by months of bombardment, stands as a testament to Houthi endurance, a stronghold that could fuel a conflict for years, each U.S. strike costing millions while the rebels regroup, rearm, and prepare for the next battle. Sana'a, Yemen's ancient capital, is a city of secrets, a Houthi stronghold where history and warfare intertwine in a deadly dance. At the television hilltop, named for its proximity to Yemen's state television station, the Houthis conceal command hubs that orchestrate sophisticated drone swarms and missile barrages. To the southeast, the Al-Hafa base harbors bunkers plunging 10 stories beneath the earth, packed with Birkin 2H missiles, Shahed 136 kamikaze drones, and high explosives, poised to strike Saudi Arabia or disrupt Red Sea shipping lanes. These weapons, many supplied by Iran's Revolutionary Guard, are the backbone of Houthi power, capable of reaching targets hundreds of miles away. Since 2022, the Houthis have fortified Sana'a, transforming warehouses into tunnel entrances and using the city's dense urban fabric to shield their military assets from satellite surveillance. This two-year effort, sparked by the failures of earlier Saudi-led campaigns, has turned Sana'a into an urban fortress, nearly impervious to conventional strikes. The U.S. responded with a barrage of precision weaponry, B-2 Spirit bombers, FA-18 Super Hornets from the USS Harry S. Truman, and GBU-28 and GBU-39 bombs, each costing $150,000. In October 2024, 6 airstrikes rocked the Al-Hafa base. In April 2025, 14 more targeted its bunkers, aiming to cripple Houthi operations. Yet the fortifications held firm, their depths absorbing blows like a steel trap, allowing the Houthis to emerge unscathed. On May 6, 2025, Trump's ceasefire paused U.S. attacks, but Houthi leaders, undeterred, vowed to continue striking Israel, their bunkers untouched even after Israeli airstrikes devastated Sana'a's international airport on the same day. This resilience echoes Afghanistan's Kabul, where the Taliban exploited urban chaos to hide their operations, forcing the U.S. into a delicate balance between precision and collateral damage during a $2 trillion war. It also recalls Vietnam's Saigon, where Viet Cong bunkers lurked beneath bustling markets, defying B-52 bombardments and surviving temporary truces. Sana'a's civilian population, interwoven with Houthi assets, creates a political nightmare, as any misstep risks civilian deaths and global condemnation, inflating the war's cost in dollars and diplomatic capital. The ceasefire may offer a momentary reprieve, but the Houthis' defiance, fueled by their fortified urban stronghold, signals a conflict far from resolution, one that could drain billions and erode America's resolve. Hodeidah, Yemen's beating pulse on the Red Sea, is the Houthi spear aimed at the heart of global commerce. Its sprawling port, a lifeline for food, fuel, and humanitarian aid, doubles as a deadly arsenal, concealing C-802 anti-ship missiles, Quds cruise missiles, and naval drones that terrorize the Bab al-Mandab Strait, where 15% of the world's trade flows. These weapons, many crafted with Iranian technology and smuggled through Eritrea's coastal routes, have turned Hodeidah into a global choke point, disrupting shipping lanes and forcing vessels to reroute at massive cost. Since 2022, the Houthis have fortified Hodeidah, constructing bunkers beneath the port's docks and reinforcing warehouses to shield their arsenal from airstrikes. This two-year transformation, driven by lessons from earlier Saudi-led failures, has made Hodeidah a near-impenetrable hub of Houthi power. The U.S. struck back with surgical precision. FA-18 Super Hornets, launched from the USS Harry S. Truman in the Red Sea and the USS Carl Vinson in the Gulf of Oman, MQ-9 Reaper drones, and JDAM guided bombs costing $25,000 each. In April 2025, airstrikes targeted the port and the nearby Amin Mokbul district, aiming to disrupt Houthi operations. Yet the fortifications, meticulously rebuilt after each attack, stood defiant, preserving the missiles and drones that threaten global trade. On May 6, 2025, Trump's ceasefire paused U.S. strikes, with the Houthis pledging to halt Red Sea attacks to ensure safe navigation. But Houthi leaders, emboldened by Israeli airstrikes on Hodeidah's port the same day, vowed to continue targeting Israel, keeping their bunkers active and their threat alive. This scenario recalls Vietnam's coastal supply lines, where Viet Cong boats evaded U.S. naval blockades to sustain their fight, and Afghanistan's smuggling routes, which kept the Taliban armed for 20 years despite a $2 trillion campaign. Hodeidah's dual role as a humanitarian hub and military base complicates U.S. strategy, as any strike risks shutting down aid deliveries, triggering famine for millions of Yemenis. Each U.S. operation burns through millions of dollars, while the global economy suffers billions in losses from disrupted trade. The ceasefire offers a glimmer of hope, but Houthi defiance and the port's enduring fortifications suggest a war that could persist for years, a costly wound that refuses to heal. Sayada, Sana'a, and Hodeidah are more than battlegrounds. They are a blueprint for Houthi endurance, a fortress designed to exhaust America's resolve. 2 years of preparation, from 2022 to 2025, have turned Yemen's mountains, cities, and ports into a network of defiance, outsmarting the world's most advanced weaponry: B-2 Spirit bombers, FA-18 jets, and GBU-28 bunker buster bombs that cost $150,000 each. The ceasefire announced on May 6, 2025, brokered by Oman, paused U.S. airstrikes, with Trump claiming Houthi surrender after they agreed to halt Red Sea attacks. But the Houthis, led by Mohammed Ali al-Houthi and Mahdi al-Mashat, call it a strategic pause, vowing to evaluate the truce's sincerity while redirecting their Iranian-backed arsenal, Scud missiles, Samad-4 drones, C-802 anti-ship weapons, toward Israel. Their bunkers, unscathed by months of bombardment and Israeli strikes on May 6th, remain a potent threat, capable of disrupting global trade and regional stability. This war is a chilling echo of history. In Vietnam, the Cu Chi tunnels, stretching 250 kilometers, absorbed $1 trillion in U.S. bombing, adjusted for today, allowing the Viet Cong to outlast temporary truces like the 1973 Paris Accords. In Afghanistan, the Taliban's Tora Bora caves and mountain hideouts drained $2 trillion over 20 years, ending in a chaotic U.S. withdrawal in 2021. Yemen is on a similar trajectory, $500 million spent in 2024 alone, with projections of billions by 2030 as the war grinds on. The human toll is devastating. Civilian deaths in Sana'a's crowded streets, famine risks in Hodeidah if the port falters, and U.S. sailors endangered in the Red Sea, where a $14 million FA-18 was lost on May 6th. Politically, the war is a quagmire, eroding support for U.S. intervention as costs soar and victories remain elusive, much like the domestic backlash during Vietnam and Afghanistan. The ceasefire may save dollars now, but its fragility, Houthi defiance, Israeli airstrikes, and Iran's shadow could reignite hostilities, pulling America back into a vortex of spending and sacrifice. Like the Viet Cong and Taliban, the Houthis bet on endurance, exploiting Yemen's terrain and their fortified strongholds to outlast a superpower with finite patience and resources. This conflict could stretch into the 2030s, a trillion-dollar nightmare that threatens to break America's will, leaving only questions where victory should stand. Yemen's unbreakable fortress stands as a monument to Houthi defiance, its caves, bunkers, and ports unbroken by America's might. Sa'da's mountains, Sana'i's streets, and Hodeida's docks endure, even as Trump's ceasefire of May 6, 2025, pauses the storm. The Houthis' vow to strike Israel, undeterred by truces or Israeli airstrikes, echoes the resilience of the Viet Cong in Vietnam's jungles and the Taliban in Afghanistan's mountains. This is no resolution. It's a moment of uneasy calm, a ceasefire that could unravel into a trap. Is Yemen's truce a path to peace? Or are the Houthis luring America into another endless war? Share your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe to EDG Post for more unflinching dives into the world's conflicts. Want us to explore other Houthi strongholds, uncover Yemen's humanitarian crisis, or expose Iran's role in this war? Vote in the comments. Hajjah and Marib, the human cost, or Iran's shadow. Your voice shapes our next story.
This is EDG Post, where we face the truth, no matter how grim. Stay vigilant, keep questioning, and join us for the next chapter.